Well, well, it's morning still, isn't it? 11:44 is still AM. I'm already thinking it's afternoon because I've been up so long already today. Anyway, this is the video for the 11th of April, 2014, and the title is Titles Bestow Responsibilities, Not Authority. In the old world order, titles have been used to denote authority, granting those title holders privileges not afforded to the general population. When the Republic for the United States of America was founded, founding fathers thought it was necessary to prevent those with titles of nobility from holding public office, which is what the original 13th Amendment was all about. They realized the danger inherent in allowing barristers and others granted such titles by other governments, especially England, to hold public office in the new American enterprise and subvert it. Indeed, that is exactly what happened following the War of 1812, when that amendment was all but obliterated. As we strive to attain a better world for everyone, let us hold this truth in the forefront of our minds. Titles bestow responsibilities, not authority. If a title does not mean servant, in the mind of one having the title, abuse is to be expected. That individual, man or woman, is out of balance and out of harmony with natural law. The challenge before me in presenting this topic for this video is that people all over the world have been raised with the idea that titles bestow or mean authority. We've been told the exact opposite of what the truth is. Not just in this matter, but in almost everything we've been taught. Everything has been turned inside out and upside down and backwards. It's all insane what we've done with the natural order of things. Actually, we've distorted the natural order. We've subverted it. We've subverted constitutions, we've subverted governments, we've subverted institutions, we've subverted medicine, we've subverted religion, everything that we've touched as a human species has been to present the dark aspect of it, the part of it that is out of balance. And of course, part of the out of balance is just as much when you reject all of the so-called dark side or the feminine side or the negative side. If you reject all of that and you don't bring it into balance, you're polarizing, and the polarization is the problem. Not necessarily the thing in and of itself. It's not negativity or negative energy that's the problem. It's the rejection of negative energy, or it's the elevation of negative energy to bring it out of balance with positive energy. The same is true with masculine, feminine, right and left paradigm thinking, and all sorts of other polarities. The problem isn't the polarity. It's the imbalance between the polarities, or the polarization of polarities. Where we are in the world right now is we've been under a long period of rule by fiction. Fictional rule. Corporate rule, you could say, is another thing. But a corporation is a legal fiction. That's the definition of it. It's not a label I'm putting on it. That's the definition. It's a legal fiction. And in order for the legal fiction to have operated, it had to make everything in the world fictional, including human beings, including the earth itself, including religion, which it made fiction by calling it, well, it's just an illusion. That's fiction. No, it's real. It's an experience. But in our world, we've turned everything inside out and upside down so that we could, I guess, so that we could learn the negative aspect, and then we would be able to appreciate the positive aspect when we bring it back into balance, when we bring it into harmony. Now, I started by saying the history of the United States of America. This was to be the lighthouse. This was the guiding principle established by our forefathers, that we have inherent rights, self-evident rights granted by our Creator. That's natural law. These framers of our original Constitution, including the Bill of Rights, these men were visionaries and were given a vision of equality for humanity. Of course, it was subverted because attorneys started to take over the government as early as the first quarter of the 19th century. Already, before the Civil War, after the War of 1812, already the attorneys were taking over the government. And the attorneys represented, of course, the bankers in London, who wanted to rule the world and to create their new world order way back then. And they did it through the Uniform Commercial Code and by establishing courts and laws and everything else to favor the corporation, to favor the fiction as opposed to the real. They even created religions and subverted truth by weaving in falsehoods. And they've done an excellent job of brainwashing humanity. Now, as we in Swiss Indo and as other visionaries around the world try to get Earth back on track and try to get humanity back on track, our challenge is to redefine things so that when I say titles bestow responsibilities, not authority, that's the new perception. That's the new paradigm thinking. It's the paradigm thinking that has existed in the world, but it's not been the dominant feature or the dominant idea. There are people like Mr. Sugi and others in Asia and in certain tribal areas of the world where the idea of a servant king, for example, is well established within that local community. But that's not the way it is in the world. And so when Swiss Indo attempts to bring things back into balance and harmony, Mr. Sugi does it by giving titles to people. And those titles are not primarily for the people. And I want you to hear this. I want you to understand this. They're not positions of authority over people. They are positions of authority to deal with the existing fraudulent authorities of the corporate governments that don't want to give up their power. This is the challenge. When we talk, for example, about diplomatic immunity, I welcome my diplomatic immunity. It's not so that I can break laws. I've said that before. It's not so that I can do whatever I want. It's a method of trying to gain the respect of those who think that their titles or their positions denote authority. So that when I say, well, I'm also a general, I'm also this or that, I'm a prime minister, I'm a UN delegate, or whatever, it's to protect myself from their abuse. It's not so that I can have special privileges, because we still live in a world that is corrupted. We still live in a 3D world where everything has been turned inside out and upside down and nothing is what it appears to be. We're trying to address that. We're trying to correct that. We're trying to bring back balance and harmony with the natural law. We're trying to bring that back so that everyone, every human being on the planet can be free to be and to do and to create and to prosper and to experience life in all of its opportunities and all of its fullness. The negative and the positive. We're not trying to eliminate the negative experience. Those are good teachers for a lot of people. We're trying to bring it back into balance so that instead of the system being weighed heavily in the favor of that which is false, that which is violent, that which is coercive, that which is manipulative, that it's back into balance where the other side has an opportunity to present what it's like to live in a world where people that have titles use those titles to liberate others, not to enslave, where they use them to empower others and to enrich others, not to deplete their assets and to kill their spirit, but to boost the spirit. A whole different kind of leadership. It's not rulership, it's leadership. We haven't had leadership among our rulers for the most part in the 20th and here so far in the 21st century. Not Obama, not anybody. They've all played and danced to the corporate tune. Swiss Indo is offering an alternative to that. Leaders whose heart is in the place of wanting to do what is right for all of humanity, for wanting to lift up the weakest among us and empower those that have been the most downtrodden, to level the playing field, to bring justice based on truth, based on natural law, common law. This has been the vision. And if you can't see that, if we haven't made it clear to you yet, please, please, please open your mind and open your eyes and open your heart. Listen to what we're saying. This is what we're trying to do, and we will hold everybody, we will hold each other accountable. We will not allow the old to get away with co-opting this mission that has been given to us by God, by our Creator. We will stand up for the people. I know I will, and I believe that at least 90% of the delegates will, and hopefully 100%. But I can't say that 100%. To me, sometimes it appears that some people still relish their titles too much. That bothers me. That bothers me. Because to me, I've been told that I was a prime minister. I haven't been told what I'm a prime minister of, but I was told that I'm a prime minister. And I'm not part of a continental-only delegation or a regional delegation. It's the world delegation. This is what I've been told. Mr. Sugi sent the message to me via people in Indonesia and said that Karen Collins, myself, and Mr. Sugi are the leaders of the delegation. Now, Karen and I take that very, very seriously. And we do our best to be champions for the rights of the people. That's why I made the video yesterday saying collateral accounts belong to all the people, because it was brought to my attention that certain documents name individuals as beneficiaries. Well, this can't be. This cannot be. This is not truth. The truth is all human beings. And I know somebody said human beings are considered monsters. Well, that's a legal definition, but legal definitions are fiction. The whole legal system is fictional. It's not real. It's maybe how they see it, but it's not real. It's fiction. It's more distortion. Human beings are individuals created by God, showing the the character or the potential of God to create. And we are made in God's image, we are told. And that is as creators. And what we're trying to do is to co-create a world where truth is dominant, where the truth is told, because you can't have justice without truth. You can't have freedom without justice. You can't have peace without freedom. You can't have creativity without peace. You can't prosper without justice and peace, and all of these things are righted, put back in place where they belong, and brought back into harmony with natural law, which is the basis of common law. It's really simple, the golden rule. And so we've been given titles, and we ask those that have titles also to accept us at least as equals. We've been given titles too, but look at how we're using the titles. We're using them to serve humanity. That's the intent. That's the mission that we've been given. That's the assignment that we're on, to right the insanity and to try to bring harmony and reason back to the world, instead of the unreasonable craziness of the matrix that we've known, the old paradigm system. This is our mission. It's not an easy mission, because so many people are still stuck in the old way of thinking. But I want you to get it through your head and into your heart that when we come to you with titles, it means we have accepted a responsibility to do our best to make the world better. We do not see it as holding a position of authority and special privileges that you don't have. You have the same rights and responsibilities that we do. We have a greater responsibility because we've accepted a title. That's why we've taken oaths and signed an oath and a bond to be protectors of the people's rights. The one people, all people, everyone. Please understand this so that you can help and not hinder the task that we've been given. Thank you for listening. Namaste.